Elise Holcombe, thank you for being my special guest today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to visit with you. So Elise and I met in Chamber. Oh, let me let somebody in, pause. North Clackamas Chamber, hashtag Chamber Love. And we were at a meeting recently and you gave me a tour of your facility, which was way cool. And it has all this technical gadgets and a lot of software backed programs to show people how they're building strength. But what really struck me was the back room with the real low tech balance training and neurological training stuff. So I for sure want to talk about that, but let me back up and give you a little intro. So Elise is the owner of Osteostrong in Happy Valley. You have a background in clinical nursing and research, and also strength, powerlifting. And then you opened Osteostrong in 2019. What do you have to add to that little intro?
Well, yeah, so pretty much I've kind of had a really interesting career. I started out as a nurse. I didn't like blood or bad smells, so I had to find something else. And I found like my perfect niche in clinical research. So that's basically running the studies to get drugs approved. And it's sort of, as my health journey progressed, it became incongruous with kind of the things I believed. And I'd read protocols and be like, you know, if we change your diet a little bit, could do some supplement with this and do some of that, maybe you wouldn't need this drug we're studying. So, yeah, so I needed to find something else that I needed, that I was born to do, and it was Osteostrong.
Nice. And your tagline for Osteostrong is building better bones, better strength, 10 minutes a week. Did I get that right?
Better bones, better strength, and better balance in 10 minutes, 1 day per week. You got it.
And the room I was talking about had the balance training part. So our goal, our sort of theme for this week, you and I have been talking at one of the chamber meetings about the pieces that are missing when we think of whole body health. And you had this little area where you had people stand on a balance board, and then you had them, you'd hold up a card and say, find the pink elephant or pick out the green square. So making their brain work as their body was doing something. Is that, would you put that in that category of things we might be missing in the whole body?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you think about aging, getting older, we all want to be the spry, sharp little granny or grampy. And so what we do now really will determine how our life is going to be in the future. And one of the great things, so the first part of your journey at Osteostrong, everybody comes in and the first thing you do is we put you on whole body vibration. And whole body vibration is amazing because when you're going through your daily life, even when you're working in the gym, you're probably activating about 40% of your muscles. But when we put you on a vibration plate, it activates the muscles that you're not using. So you're activating then 90% of your muscles compared to 40%. So it kind of accelerates what you're doing. And if you're stretching, it's accelerating the stretching. If you are doing exercises, and especially exercises with weights on the vibration plate, here's like a mind-blowing fact. It will release human growth hormone up to 2,000%, like increase your levels up to 2,000%. So whole body vibration is such a powerful thing for your muscles, your body, neurologically, how your brain interacts with your body, and also your cognition. So the thinking parts of your brain. And what we do at Osteostrong, so we kind of go through a process, but at the end of the process, you are in a window of what we call neuropotentiation or brain strengthening. And at that point, we take you and put you back on the whole body vibration plate, and we work on things that are challenging your cognition as well as your balance and your coordination, because we know that your future foundation for strength and balance is a triangle. So they're all related, is cognition, balance, and strength. So they all play off each other. So if your cognition is not what it could be, your balance will be impacted. And if your balance is not good, your strength is not good. And likewise, if your strength isn't good, so they're all connected. So yes, we try to have fun. We play Anne is right. We have this card and we have you do things with that, but we also have colored scarves. So we play with scarves. We spell things backwards. Yeah, we call colors the wrong things. Super fun.
So you said the triangle was cognition, balance, and strength. And what do you feel like most people might be missing when they go to a traditional gym or do a traditional workout?
So I think when you go to a traditional gym and a traditional workout, you're doing something very different. But definitely, you know, the cognition piece can be missing. If you're just working on moving your muscles, you're not necessarily actively working on balance. Now, I know a lot of people do go to the gym and work on balance while they're there. So, but I think nobody goes to the gym and say, hey, I'm going to do my cognitive exercises now. So that's where at Osteostrong, you know, we just, even just a couple minutes that we do makes a difference. And even some of our ladies that have are post chemo and have what, you know, you may have heard of chemo brain, or maybe somebody has experienced it or is experiencing it. So we can even help just kind of clear that a little bit. So yeah.
The brain fog.
It's amazing. I love, like, I know Osteostrong is about bones, but I wish I could dive more into the cognitive thing, because I see so many people need more cognitive support.
Someone's doing a live interview.
No, my granny, I remember her balancing her checkbook by hand every month. And she said, this is training my brain.
Exactly. And you thought she was crazy, right? You're like, why?
No,
would
I
you
was like,
use a
good for
computer?
you.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah,
mom
just
works
balance my checkbook
Sudoku puzzles.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then I have ladies, so when I do yoga and Pilates classes, I have ladies that are hardcore like yoga camp or Pilates camp. So let's say you were just doing yoga and then you had maybe the balance and the flexibility component. What do you think would be missing for my yoginis that maybe aren't doing strength or aren't doing cognitive training?
Yeah, they definitely need to make sure that they're getting that strength covered. And I often hear the yoga, you know, I have a lot of people, I have some pretty hardcore yoga people, and they're like, well, I get a lot of strength from yoga. And I'm like, I know you do. I'm not dissing it at all, but you know, they come here and they improve. So that tells me that yoga does not fully give them the strength that they need. So it's really nice that we can round them out, make them stronger for yoga. And then, you know, as you learn what you can do for yourself cognitively, right? So even while you're doing your yoga movements or poses, you can find opportunities for cognitive challenge. So just finding a color across the room and spelling it backwards, or 5 things, like I'm looking at your pink shirt. So 5 things that are pink. Name me 5 things that are pink. So just little things like that. It doesn't have to be even as difficult as Sudoku.
You know, I've even heard of that as a calming technique. If you start to feel anxious or your anxiety ramping up, to look around the room and find 4 things that are square or 4 things that are pink, like you say, because it sort of helps you connect your brain and your body.
Yeah, for sure. That's
cool.
Brilliant.
And then what about my people that say I'm walking or running or cycling, but do I still need to do strength training, or do I need to do other things?
Yeah, so strength training is so important. Like, I think we don't realize that strength training is the thing that is going to keep us young and active. And even though, and I see this all the time, people who love to bike and people who are lifelong runners, eventually they stop doing that. And why is that? They've either had an injury, they're losing their balance and they've fallen off their bike a couple times, or they had a crash, or, you know, they just don't have the strength anymore. So what we know is that as we age, our muscles decrease along with our bones. And we start losing our bone density from about the age 30. So when we're in our 40s and 50s, that's when we start feeling it. But we're saying things like, well, I can't quite do what I used to. Gardening's a little bit harder. I used to be able to go out and ride 100 miles in a day. Now, you know, 75 is enough. Things like that. So we attribute that to aging, but we don't necessarily realize that is an age-related decline in muscle strength, often related to the loss of bone density. So if you can address the bone density, you are going to have amazing strength to last into your aged years.
Right, because picking up heavy things stresses the muscles, which pulls on the bones, which forces them to lay down new material, right?
Yeah. So, and we also have, so here, we'll tell you that just going to the gym is probably, and weight training is probably not sufficient, because what we know, and this is backed up by scientific studies, is that you need a minimum of 4.2 times your body weight. You need to be able to move that much in order to really trigger the bone growth process. That is in the hip. So in the other parts of the body, it is less. But the hip is the one that they know for sure the minimum dose. And the reason they studied the hip is because, of course, hips are the things that get broken and lead to mortality. So you break your wrist, you just get it fixed and you'll be fine. So you're not going to die from it. So they study the hip a lot. That's what they look at. But yeah, so I do like to just say, I'm glad you're going to the gym, and you should be going to the gym, but you also need to be thinking a little bit higher level and just understanding that getting that, attaining a higher strength is possible once you're able to emulate those kind of loads like you could at Osteostrong.
So keep doing the things you enjoy doing. If you're a yogini, if you're a cyclist, do those things, and then add on these other pieces, the balance, the strength, the cognitive.
Exactly. And because we're going to maintain, like, when we find the thing that we love to do, it's not a chore most of the time, right? So when I was powerlifting and bodybuilding, I could not wait to go to the gym for 2 hours every day. I loved it. It was my passion. And 99% of the people around me were like, you're crazy. But when you find what you love, you have to do it. And then you find what's going to help me do it better and longer.
All right. Do you want to share with me what your max 1 rep squat was when you were your strongest?
When I was powerlifting, yeah, I was 285 was my max.
Dang.
Powerlifting. Yeah. So, yeah.
I love it.
That was a lot.
That's
I had a great
awesome.
trainer. So that's one of the things, I will say also for going to the gym, people think I was crazy because I was, I'm very well versed, and I was able to train other people, even as train other people in the art. But I continued to keep my trainer, and I worked with 2 world champion producing trainers. The reason I did that is because my form is terrible. Like, you can't see yourself. So I needed those people to keep me safe. I also needed those people to prod me along. So you can hold this a little bit longer, so it's really funny how we think, oh, I can do my own workout program, but we really don't push ourselves enough. If you're in a self-propelled program, I guarantee you're probably not getting the best results you could, because you will work better for someone else than you will for yourself.
So maybe seek professional help could be part of this.
Exactly.
Whether that's a strength trainer, a coach, a nutritionist, some kind of medical professional, like whatever it is that you're working on. If you've got some outside eyes looking at you, giving you feedback on your form or your periodization program, that you're going to see better results.
Yeah. Studies have shown that 2 heads are literally better than 1. So when 2 people work together on an idea, it actually equivalates to like 5 brains working in single, I guess I'd say by themselves.
Right. 1 and 1 does not equal 2. 1 and 1 could equal 5, 10.
Yeah.
All right. I want to make sure we get to questions. I have muted everybody that came in. If you have any questions for Elise, now would be a good time to unmute yourself and pop in, or if you want to leave a question in the chat. And I'm going to try to keep this to about 30 minutes. That's what we've been averaging on our interviews. So if anybody wants to pop in with questions for Elise now or later. And then I got a question. What do you do for fun?
Well, I opened a business. So fun is harder to find these days. I love being here. I love doing what I do. My husband and I really enjoy ballroom dancing. What's really cool, so here's the cool thing, is that he decided that that is what we were going to do. And I was like, really? Are you sure? And he's a klutz. Like, he's such a klutz. Like, I went in and I'm all used to working with trainers and being coachable and doing this, and he totally is not. So it was frustrating for me because he learned slower than I did. But I learned, and we've been married, oh man, close to, I don't even know, more than 25, less than 30 years. So an eternity. It was really interesting because I learned so much about him during that process. So that was really good. And I'm looking forward, we're both looking forward to getting back to that once we kind of get the business under control. The other thing I do for fun is I have 2 cats that we rescued. And my greatest luxury in the mornings, 5 o'clock in the morning when my alarm goes off, is crawling back in bed and snuggling with them.
I feel like cats is part of a mental health strategy, having things that you can snuggle, furry things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they're so cute and they love you. And yeah, it's just, yeah, it is a very happy, that's my happy place.
My sweetie and I have done some ballroom, and once a year he'll go on my birthday and take a lesson. And we figured out foxtrot was the best for him because it's just walking and stepping. No hip action,
Exactly.
no
Yeah,
Latin.
no hip action. Yeah, my husband doesn't have any hip action either. Trying to watch him do Latin is hilarious.
I'm like, oh, but God bless him for trying.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay, so you opened a business during the pandemic.
Yeah, that was, you know, when you plan out your worst case scenarios, I never would have figured on this one. So we had 9 months and we were just hitting our stride when the pandemic hit. So I have to say, when we closed, and when we went into that first lockdown, I honestly did not know if we would open again, but we did, and we're still here and we're growing, and it's amazing. And I'm just so thankful. And, you know, every day is a new day, but it's, yeah, we are truly blessed here.
And then tell me some highs and lows about running your own business, being your own boss. What are your favorite things and least favorite things?
Oh, I fall in love with people, which is good and bad, right? So when I go to interview people, of course, I fall in love with just about everyone. So it's really hard for me to say no. You know, it's like, I want to hire them all. So I really do. I think one of the highs is my staff. And I have picked very carefully, and we've been through highs and lows together. I mean, they're imperfect people just like I am, but I just love them, and I love how they love my membership, the members, and that they're able to carry forward my dream. So that's definitely been a real high. And then, you know, a low is just there's a lot of uncertainty, and I don't, you know, what's happening in the world. And so it's really easy. I have to be very careful mentally to focus on the positive things and making sure that I'm not future tripping and just taking, you know, I'm like, okay, I can deal with today. All those things aren't going to happen today, so let's just not worry about that. But yeah, that probably is my biggest low.
I feel the exact same way. I love connecting with my clients. I love going to like networking events like the chamber and connecting with all of y'all. And it's nice to have some in person. But yeah, it's hard to know what's coming. And I think that's what we fear the most is uncertainty. We like to know what's coming.
Yeah. But I have to say, being my own boss, I love the people. And, you know, I worked from home when I was in pharmaceuticals, and I did travel, but when I wasn't traveling, I was home, and I didn't see people sometimes for weeks other than my husband. And so when I opened, I didn't even know what was normal for an office, because I hadn't worked in an office for so many years. So it was really a big adjustment for me. It's like I would lean over to she's my head coach now, and be like, is this normal? Is this how it's supposed to be? So yeah, but definitely I enjoy being out, seeing the people, meeting all the our members and the guests who come in. It's just so fun meeting them. And So people are definitely the highlight.
I feel like a lot of us are doing that right now. Is this normal? Is this
Yeah,
what's happening?
exactly. Exactly.
All right. Is there anything else you want to share with us that we didn't cover today?
Well, I guess I could tell you a couple stories of Osteostrong if you wanted.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. And then I have a question in the chat box from Marama. She says, I know of some, come back to your stories of success in just a second. She says, I know of some exercise enthusiasts who exercise twice a day. Is there a good or bad time to exercise? And what order of going to the gym plus Osteostrong is best? Ooh, good question.
That's a very good question. Yes, so it is fine. It depends on what you're doing, right? So you can't necessarily go out and power lift twice a day. That wouldn't be advisable, but there are definitely other things that you can do. So for example, you could do yoga in the morning, and whatever, thing you wanted to do in the afternoon would be perfectly fine. So as far as timing of that, yes, and it's great. Now, as far as Osteostrong is concerned, it's a really good idea to do your Osteostrong session before you go to the gym and work hard. If you work hard, then you may be a little bit too fatigued to come in and do your best at Osteostrong. So we recommend do your Osteostrong first, and probably not on race day. So, but yeah, that was a really good question. Did I answer all of it?
I think so. Oh, here's another one. Are you requiring proof of vax to join Osteostrong?
No, we're not.
No.
We have some people who can't be vaxxed. Literally, like one person with anaphylaxis. So we're not going to discriminate. We're very, very safe here. So we're able to kind of control the flow. So it's not like a gym where people just spontaneously appear. It is appointment only. So we have always been able to control how many people are in the center. We require, of course, you can't come if you're sick. Hand washing is mandatory. So, and I'm just going to go off on a tiny tangent about hand washing, in the fact that hand washing is almost as good as a vaccine. This is what the CDC said prior to the current situation. But hand washing is very, very, very helpful in reducing the spread of disease. And we're used to running around slathering gel on our hands, and that is not effective. If you use more than 3 applications without washing it off, then you're kind of defeating the purpose. So we do require hand washing. And then we also have a super, super cool air purification system in the center, and it is approved by the FDA and removes 21 different viruses, including the big C, from the air within 3 minutes. So we feel pretty safe. So yeah, we're not requiring proof of vax.
No, I was in your place and it was clean. You could eat off the floor. It was so
Yes.
clean. And it's plenty of space where you're not right on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope, can we keep this from the pandemic? Wash your hands, stay home when you're sick, and don't touch your face.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I noticed on these Zoom calls. I catch myself. I'm like, oh, don't touch.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, do you want to give us a couple of client success stories?
Absolutely. So there are so many that I can choose from, but I have a few favorites. So one of them is a fairly new client. And when she walked in, I wasn't even sure if she would be able to do what we do. Like, she was so bent over, and she has something called tardive dyskinesia, which is shaking. And I really did not know what she was capable of. So when we first start, we do some baseline balance and function testing. And on one of the tests, she tested out at over 90 years of age, and she's in her 60s. So she was pretty bad off, extremely high fall risk. And so she came, and we did the best we could with her sessions. Some days she wasn't able to engage as much as others just because of her neurological condition. We worked with where she was. And 8 weeks later, we retested her. And she'd had a moderate strength gain. I had hoped for more, but just kind of given some of her challenges, she was a little slower, and I was fine with that. I was absolutely floored and thrilled to death when we redid that one specific test, and she had dropped back into her normal age range. So basically, we had reversed her power, we had increased her power by 20 years. So she had went from the 90 age range back into a normal age range for a 60-year-old woman. And it was astounding. And the other thing too is she's very, very hunched over, very hunched over. She's standing so much straighter. I'm just like, I keep saying, I can't believe it's only been 2 months and she's doing this. So thrilled to death with her progress. We have another lady, and she is an Ironman athlete. So I don't know if you know Ironman, but it's a triathlon. So they run a marathon, so it's 26.2 miles. They bike, I think, a century, which is 100 miles, and then they swim. I don't even know because I'd be dead by that point, but they swim a really long, like, is it a mile? 5 miles? I don't know. Anyway, a long way, right? So she's in her 60s, and you would imagine that someone like that would be pretty strong. And so she started here actually for some pain. And one day she was in our recovery room and she was crying. And we were quite concerned. She was like, oh no, what happened? She's like, I just realized that this pain that I thought I would have for the rest of my life is gone. And it's those kind of things that it makes it all worth it. And the super cool thing is now she is placing better in her competitions. She's won some that she wasn't expected to win. And she's had a 68% strength gain with us as well. So just thrilled to death with that.
So improve strength, improve balance, reduce pain.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Matt just popped in the thing. He said it's a 2.4 mile swim.
Thank you, Matt.
That doesn't seem like much, but man, I bet that's long when you're doing it.
Well, when you've swum one lap and you're like, I have to do the other way now. So yeah, 2.4 miles is a long way.
And then who else? Oh, I think most of us learned the importance of hand washing when we were children. How many of us remember, right? We need a reminder now about the hand washing. All right, anybody have questions? You want to do chat or live questions? Last chance to hit Elise up with your questions. What's the best way to get a hold of you? Is it on your website or email or phone?
Yeah, so there's a number of ways you can get a hold of us. So osteostrongpdx.com is our website. You can actually go there and book a complimentary session. So that starts with a phone call to kind of assess your needs, what your goals are, what your challenges might be. And then they book you into the center for your first session. The first session takes an hour to an hour and a half because we do a lot of adjusting. We adjust everything perfectly to you. And you always have a coach. In fact, I see one of my amazing coaches on right now, Mr. Matt. So yeah, you always have a really fabulous coach with you to keep you safe. So yeah, osteostrongpdx.com, you can book there, or you can give us a call at 503-575-9845, and we'd be happy to help you book that.
Awesome. I'll put links to that. This is going to go on my YouTube page. Awesome. Channel. And my name is Ann, and I'm with Fluid Movement and Massage. So if you just Google that or type it into YouTube, I've got a ton of interviews. This is going to go up once I bake it and pop it up, hopefully this weekend. And I'll put links to your site. And then if you have any stuff of things you want to send me, like articles or whatever, I can pop them in the info box too.
Thank you.
All right. Any last words for us? I feel like we got to a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, we did. So, well, I just want to say, don't ever think that aging is inevitable. We can age with power, strength, and vitality. Tony Robbins does this really cool exercise, and I try to do it with myself now. So imagine yourself as a 90-year-old, and what picture do you paint of yourself, right? Are you painting yourself hunched over, painful, shuffling, having difficulty getting up and down? Or are you painting yourself as a 90-year-old who's jumping out of a chair, able to go to the gym, lift weights, maybe skydiving? So we really have to kind of envision the life we want for ourselves as we age, and we're more likely to achieve it. But don't ever think that what you're doing, that don't ever think that aging is just something that happens to you, because we can control so many things that happen to us as we age. So age well is what I would say, and happy Friday.
Right. Do I get old because I've stopped moving, or stop moving because I've gotten old?
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, I get something. Oh, let's see. Larama says, what about the bio? Do you want to talk about the Biocharger?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So the Biocharger is something that we have. You may have seen it, Anne, when you were in. It was the machine with the lights on it. So we have this machine. It's kind of a space age machine. It's super cool. It has a pulsed electromagnetic field in the bottom. Pulsed electromagnetic fields are actually good for healing bones that are not healing. It's approved by the FDA for that. So broken bones that don't heal. It's also approved for bone density improvements. In other countries, they've approved it for things like migraines, depression, post-operative pain. So it's a very powerful platform. Well, we've taken that and combined it with a Tesla coil, which puts healthy voltage in the air. Your cell membranes actually need that voltage to work well. So to get your nutrition in and toxins out. So they will replicate a healthier cell when it's time for them to die. And then we also have whole spectrum light all combined in with that. Now, whole spectrum light can help with vitamin D synthesis in your body, collagen synthesis. So that's going to help with your immunity, help you look younger, help with your sleep. So that Biocharger combines all those things. You come sit around it and you spend about 15 minutes. You can pick a recipe. So we have like inflammation, bones of steel, happy days, immunity. So you can pick a recipe, sit and enjoy it. And what's really I love about the Biocharger room is it's kind of like a campfire, right? So my whole goal when we started Osteostrong was to build community. And it's been really hard with COVID because community's been forbidden. But people come sit in that room and they connect with each other. And we're able to keep them far enough apart, but they start chatting and they build friendships. And the next thing you know, you hear all this laughter coming out of there and you want to be in there sitting with them, sitting around the Biocharger. But yeah, the Biocharger is really amazing. So it's one of the extra things that we do in our center.
The Biocharger / Campfire.
Campfire, yeah.
I love this community building.
Yeah,
the
that was
tagline,
really important.
yes. And this is, I think, what we're missing right now is this being with other people and socializing. And I think it's really good, important for us, more important than we realize.
And I have several ladies who live alone, and this is the only place they come. Like they get their groceries delivered every day. This is the only place they come, and they're lonely. And yeah, it breaks. Like I've had people in there crying because it's like, oh, finally I get to be around a person. So it's so important. And you don't know, when just looking at someone, you don't know the pain and loneliness that they have. So it's nice to be able to help meet that need.
I love it. I love what you're doing. I love what you're up to.
Thank you.
I love your vibe. You're
Thank
killing
you.
it, Elise.
Thank you. I love you too. I have to say, I'm just going to toss it back at you. Anne has been in the chamber for a few months now, and I have just loved getting to know her. She's really phenomenal, and I can't wait to, collaborate with her and do more with her in the future. So thank you very much, Anne.
Thanks. We're having a big love party.
We are having a big love party.
Love is the answer.
It is.
Yep. Oh, Susan's giving me a little heart. All right. I feel like we got to a lot of stuff. Last chance for questions in the chat box, or unmute yourself. Otherwise, we're going to let Elise get back to it. She got busy bee. She got stuff to do. Can't be here gabbing with me all day.
Well, I enjoyed it. So thank you all for coming, and thank you, Anne.
Thanks, Elise. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.